Actually, I was very introverted. In fact, I'm an introvert. At home, I'm very comfortable being alone. I would play chess, but by myself. So move the putih, turn the board around, move the hitam, and then when I beat myself, I get upset. It was Merdeka Eve, 1990.
And you were confident lah? You were...
Well,
were you
I
already...
wasn't confident. I was like, I'm just going to repeat my funny stories lah.
Yeah, but macam, were you someone yang memang dah biasa pegang mic?
No, tak pernah.
That was the first ever time.
That was the first. So I got on stage at the lobby lounge, fairly small lobby lounge, but it was packed. 6 people.
6 people?
4 were staff.
Okay.
Then there was Marina and her friend Rosina.
Okay.
So basically like hanging out with them lah. Tell this funny story. Dia lah. Macam ni lah.
Dia nak suruh
Diorang ketawa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Ashraf Khalid dan bersama saya
Ishraq Kamaruddin.
Selamat datang ke Apa Cerita Podcast, di mana kita mendengar kisah individu-individu yang berjaya dan menarik untuk dijadikan sebagai inspirasi dan teladan.
Assalamualaikum semua.
Assalamualaikum. Alright, so guys, today we are in for a treat.
Yes.
Because we have someone yang really
very special
and someone yang I grew up watching.
Betul.
And grew up being entertained by him. So
yes.
my childhood was, a lot of his shows were my childhood,
Yes.
So very honoured and also very happy to have this person with us today.
Yep.
Alright, so what?
Yes, up.
Let's do the honour of introducing our guest.
With
the legend
utmost,
today.
The legend in the entertainment scene. Before we start, I nak sarankan kepada semua viewers Apa Cerita out there yang belum lagi subscribe. Percentage quite. You guys watch tapi tak subscribe. Do subscribe please.
Yeah. And
it's
also
free.
Tick the notification button.
Betul.
So that you know every episode datang keluar kan.
Betul. And dia akan membantu kita punya algorithm lebih spread lagi banyak kepada orang, lagi banyak boleh bermanfaat dengan kita punya apa kita buat di sini.
And also hashtag nak ubah member.
Yes.
So kita nak member-member kita pun, kalau kita dapat some benefit from it, kita nak member-member kita pun dapat the benefit juga.
Yes. Alright. So without further ado, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's guest is a true legend in Malaysia's entertainment scene, like we mentioned just now. For over 3 decades, he has been at the forefront of shaping stand-up comedy in our country. So we're going to hear a lot of good stories. From his early days in the iconic TV show Jangan to becoming the very first Malaysian to win the funniest person in the world competition in 2016, his journey is nothing short of remarkable. And in 2018, he made history again by landing his very own Netflix special, I Told You So, bringing Malaysian comedy to the global stage.
You know, the funny thing, everything yang cakap ni kan, semua aku tengok.
Yeah.
Kan?
Nice. The funny thing.
Yeah.
So he's not only known as the godfather of Malaysian comedy, but also as a mentor, a festival curator, and a builder of the local comedy ecosystem, creating opportunities for countless young comedians. Beyond the stage, he's someone whose personal story reflects resilience, humility, and an undying passion to make people laugh. Please join us in giving a very warm welcome to our guest today, an iconic comedian, actor, producer, and living legend, Harith Iskander.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Actually, bila sebut pasal Jangan Ketawa, I think maybe half or maybe more than your audience, apa tu Jangan Ketawa? So, pergi ke YouTube, type in Jangan Ketawa, and then ada juga, I don't know how these people got the clips.
Yeah, the old clips.
Mungkin direkod daripada VHS, daripada TV. Because Jangan Ketawa, first season was 1990.
Yep.
Oh wow, I wasn't even born yet.
And then TV3, and then I think they repeated TV3 then and TV7. Sampai saya dapat tahu Jangan Ketawa, the TV show, was played in Hong Kong and dubbed into Cantonese.
Wow.
So TV3 memang squeeze.
If I'm not mistaken, that time Harith, you were about 25 tahun kan? Waktu tu.
Ada rambut.
You should probably check it out. I want to see that.
Bila orang tanya, did you used to have hair? I just said, type in Jangan Ketawa into YouTube. Tengok Harith dengan rambut.
Masih remaja lagi kan.
Lebih daripada remaja sikit.
Selain here.
Tapi wavy hair. John Bon Jovi.
I feel like seeing it now.
Kita check it out after. Okay.
Alright, Harith, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
It's a real honor for us to have a legend like yourself here,
thank
kan?
you.
So thank you for making the time to be here.
Correct.
Okay, Harith.
True honor.
Of course, a lot of people think you are Mat Saleh. But actually you are a Malay because your father, you grew up in Johor with a Malay father and a Scottish mother.
Yes. So my mother was actually considered Scottish. Tapi dia datang ke Malaysia. She came to Malaysia around 1960, 61.
Oh, very young.
So by the time she passed away, dia dah memang live in Malaysia longer than she ever lived anywhere else.
I see.
Malaysian Blue IC, boleh cakap Melayu. So she was one of the early, after the independence, one of the early Mat Saleh yang kahwin Melayu.
So basically, but still Mat Saleh jugalah kan.
Mat Saleh, so waktu kat sekolah dipanggil nama lah, Celup.
Oh, celup.
My favourite was, some people would call me Cendol.
Cendol mana?
Even I'm
Mana datang cendol?
mana datang ni? Ada hijau ke? Tapi school days kan, kita ada, oi kucing, oi botak, oi cendol. Cendol saya.
Dengan yang baru ni kan ada mak kau hijau. Mana datang?
Aku tergelak kan. Rupanya daripada hari juga.
Itulah ada relate kan. Cendol.
Alright, so yeah, of course, two different backgrounds. I think
correct.
your parents had two different world under one roof kan. So how was it like growing up with your parents, and also how was the household like at that time?
So my late father was in the army, Colonel Musa. So for a short period, a few years, saya dibesarkan di MINDEF, Ministry of Defence, kat Jalan Geni.
Born there, right?
I was born in Johor. We stayed there a few years. Came up to KL. My father was in MINDEF. My late mother, dia pun kerja. She was a secretary in Dunlop Malaysia Industries Berhad.
Oh, Dunlop.
Dunlop, which was under later under Sam Darby.
Yeah.
So her boss was Dato' Ahmad, and so dia memang kerja. Kira in those days what you call a 9 to 5 lah. Dia pagi hantar kita sekolah, pergi kerja, balik in PJ all the way to MINDEF, to where we lived. You know, she would get back 6 or 7 o'clock. So she was working and my dad was working. So seperti biasa, your daily life is basically school lah. So the only way I think that it affected me was because I look a bit different, nampak Mat Saleh sikit. So kat sekolah, you know, they dapat get the nicknames and all. And I think that's why or how I use comedy. Because nowadays we would call it bullying. Kalau you panggil orang nama. But I use comedy to deflect it. So when someone cuba nak ejek you, if you reply in a funny way, you will find that the bully, it dies. Sebab tak ada reaction.
Betul.
Kalau you cakap, cendol, apa kau panggil cendol? Dia mula jadi lain. But if you just make, cendol, asalkan saya sedap, bro. And then, I think that's how I developed my
Comedy traits.
The comedy was just to deflect. And then lama-kelamaan, people like, dia ni bodoh lah biar.
Malah nak kacau.
Malah nak kacau.
So like were you already, masa since you were young, and do you know that this was your route, which is comedy?
No, not at all. Sebenarnya kan kat sekolah, nak jadi apa? Nak jadi cikgu, nak jadi engineer, nak jadi lawyer. So saya memang at school, saya memang average. Bukan top of the class, bukan bottom. So I just went through school, wanted to be a musician, I had interest in film. Sampai tahap tingkatan 5 pun, I really couldn't pinpoint nak jadi apa.
Mana ni?
So when I had a chance to study in university, I chose film productions. And even then, that was my interest at that time. And so comedy was not on the radar. Langsung not clear on the radar. That one came
Later on.
Later. Sebab bila lepas habis study, I started working advertising agency.
Ya, ada the PR tu kan.
Leo Burnett Advertising Agency. Yang waktu tu, before social media, advertising agencies were king lah. Leo Burnett, McCann Erickson, all the big names, Spencer Azizul. And so my job, I was working on TV and radio commercials. buat downhill commercials. Gaya, mutu, keunggulan.
Oh, that was you?
That was not me.
The kempen lah.
I was a producer of those commercials. The voice belonged to Esme, his name is.
Oh.
Dia memang cakap macam tu tau. Dia masuk studio, apa khabar Harith?
Macam Optimus Prime.
So takut, cakap dengan dia pun takut. Semua dia, boleh saya bermula? Boleh bang, boleh.
Aku tak tahu dia cerita betul ke.
Cerita betul. Dia cakap memang suara dia begitu. Macam Patrick Teo dulu. Patrick Teo. Take one.
But so I want to also maybe understand a little bit on how was your parents punya parenting style towards you, and how did that shape you to be the person you are?
Okay. So although my father was Malay, if I remember correctly, they were never yang jenis, of course they were, studies and you must get A and all, tapi bukan jenis yang
Paksa.
you must get 9 A's or not you are nothing. Yang paling kuat, my mother would say, if you don't pass your exam, you become rubbish collector.
Oh,
And you don't want to become a rubbish collector lah. So, but my mother lied to me. First was, in those days, Darjah 5, we had an assessment exam. So if you didn't pass your assessment exam, you didn't go to standard 6. You become a rubbish collector. I passed my assessment.
so that was the first lie.
The first, then the second lie was SRP, which turned into PMR.
Oh,
PMR.
Form 3.
Form 3, okay.
If you don't pass your Form 3 SRP, you become a rubbish collector. So I passed. And then dia kata, SRP tak mustahak. SPM, tingkatan 5. If you don't pass your SPM, you become a rubbish collector. So I passed SPM, SPM not important. You have to get a university degree. Kalau tak dapat university degree, you become a rubbish collector. Berapa lama? Sampai bila we're not going to become a rubbish collector? So that was the as much as the threat. Of course, kalau tak dapat C, dapat D, kadang-kadang dapat E dan kena marah, but it was not yang jenis you must or not you're a complete failure. So they were a little bit loose. I think that was more my mother's side. Of course, my father, army man, he wanted me to be, in the army and all. No. So great disappointment lah jadi comedian. But then I would say to him, tapi comedian and politician sama apa? So almost there.
Tapi macam, but was your dad supportive towards your journey to become
so when I recall, they were very open in terms of what you wanted to be. There was no pressure. You must be a doctor. You must be an engineer. I don't remember any of that pressure. Choose what you want to be. So in that case, and this was 70s, 80s, maybe it was not your typical Melayu household. I think they were encouraging, and I was very introverted. In fact, I'm an introvert.
Oh,
So-
by test.
No, at home, I'm very comfortable being alone. I would play chess, but by myself.
Wow.
So move the putih, turn the board around,
Serious
move the hitam, and then when I beat myself, I get upset. Betul dia. So and then, those days we had Matchbox cars. Sekarang it's apa yang kereta yang Hot Wheels kan?
Yeah.
Dulu was Matchbox. So every month minta parents beli satu Matchbox car. I think it's RM2.50, and then so I would have collection and then race on the table. I was okay being alone. And then tapi minat, so I connected with my father on football. Dulu before the Premier League, it was in English big league soccer. So dia peminat peminat Arsenal. Sebab Askar Arsenal kan, ada the Gunners. Saya peminat Liverpool. So we would watch football together, and then when the World Cup hockey in 1975 came to Malaysia, he would take us to the games. He would take us to Shah Alam Batu 3 track to watch the racing. Then bila badminton main kat Stadium Negara in those days, Panj Gunalan, Fu Kok Kiong, those players from the 70s, 80s, we go and watch. So he was very much a sportsman. So I connected with him on talking about sports lah. So that was, my mother was slightly more the strict one lah. Dia jenis pergi kerja, balik kerja, don't call. You cannot call
During
the office.
working.
Anything happen, you handle it. Rumah terbakar, put the fire out. Don't. Kalau you call your mother for, alah, something happened, someone beat me, she come back and then beat you. So it was different those days lain lah.
Yeah.
So it was, I would say I was very blessed. We were very comfortable. I don't remember. Bukan we got everything. We didn't get everything. But Raya dapat baju baru, that was about it. 5 tahun sekali dapat basikal baru, that was about it. But in those days, that was all we needed. Basikal, bola, playing cards, and then we just
Cukup lah.
Cukup. We didn't nak ni, nak tu. Mana ada Game Boy and video games and all. Tak ada. There was not much requirement. But I had, slightly more well-to-do friends. Dia orang cuti London and all. Kita cuti Port Dickson. Port Dickson was it, man. That was damn shock. To this day, I still enjoy Port Dickson, but the memories are there. But that was my extent. So it was. I still remember my parents' first car was Volkswagen, then Ford Escort, then Proton. So they just sort of went up. It was very what I would call for me an average household. I didn't. My biggest dream was nak pergi Disneyland. But I never got to go to Disneyland until I was in my adult. So when I was an adult, I went to Disneyland. Gila macam anak lah. Mickey Mouse! Waktu tu umur dah 30 lebih. Mickey Mouse pun siapa budak bodoh ni.
But speaking of your parents, right, Harith, I read that your father served in Congo and then your mother also was in UN.
Yes, so that's how they met.
Yeah, that's how they met.
Crazy.
That's how I assumed they met.
Yeah.
They met. How did that actually, from that experience, them having global responsibility affects your values and how you see your worldview?
So I think what I was growing up in a mixed household, what is lucky is that you're not fixed into one particular mindset, especially when it comes to race, especially when it comes to, perbezaan antara bangsa and all. So we celebrated Hari Raya, but on a small scale also, we celebrated Christmas. Not in the religious way, but just because it was traditional.
Celebratory way lah.
Dapat present, bagi present, and growing up, even Hari Raya there was no religious connotation to it. It was just a cultural experience. Then open house, everyone would come to our house for Hari Raya. Then Chinese New Year, kita pergi semua rumah kawan. Deepavali pergi rumah kawan. So I only realized, okay, I am actually lucky when I was older because I never internally separated I am Malay. I didn't think about it because my mother was English. So obviously, she's not Malay. So how can I be Malay? But then my father's Malay, but I'm not just Malay, I'm also English. So I was not terkongkong in a certain way of I am this and not that. I'm like, I'm neither. I'm all over the place. So if you want to talk about, I can't pinpoint a certain point, but I do realize when I compare against friends later, especially when you're older and you start realizing separation and lines, garisan of beliefs,
siapa lepak dengan siapa, all this
values and all. I actually realized, I had a slightly different upbringing. But there again, in the 70s and early 80s, it was less pronounced, the separation of race. So I went to St. John's, St. John's Institution in Bukit Nanas. And in those days, sekolah dulu, the boys is all boys school. They came in from everywhere. We had friends from Stapa, from Subang, I was from Ampang.
At St. John's?
Yes. Because dulu tak ada sekolah in your suburb. Nowadays, kalau tinggal kat Taman Tun, you go to Taman Tun. Tinggal Stapa, you go to Stapa. Those days, if you could,
people travel lah to go to school. Okay.
So in my class, all the races were represented. And I do remember places I'd never been to in those days, like Ceras, kawan daripada Puchong, kawan daripada Subang, saya daripada Ampang. So it was very, I'm lucky in the sense that St. John's at the time was very widely represented.
Yep.
So only when I left school and then came back after studying, I began to realize, the country is a little bit more segmented than I experienced. Not that it wasn't segmented, but it wasn't my experience.
Yep.
So it had a lot to do with my parents being two races, multicultural, which then, and because my mother worked in Dunlop Malaysia Industries Berhad. So misalnya her friends, Panch Gunalan, the Malaysian badminton player from the 70s, used to work at Dunlop. Dulu mana ada professional.
Dia buat part time lah.
Mokhtar Hari pun kerja. Yeah, they all work in bank.
Mokhtar Hari pun kerja.
They know the bank would take them. Mokhtar Hari, Sochin An, Santok Singh. The bank would bagi their job so that they could play football.
Oh wow.
And also represent the bank lah and then menang.
To kira sponsorship, branding.
So that was how it worked in those days.
Understand.
So growing up from 0 to 17, it was always very mixed. And only when I come back in my 20s, then I realized, not everyone had that experience, especially if you grow out outside the suburbs or in the kampung.
But I think during those days pun, dia tak macam terlalu emphasize sangat benda ni
Tak
kan.
ada. Saya rasa tak ada.
Sekarang ni, lately lah, I think.
I would say in the last 20 to 25 years, it's been more emphasized. Of course, I'm looking to rose-tinted glasses lah. Orang tua memang, those days were better. But, whether it was better or not, who knows? Can't argue that. But, so, but even within my context, I was different. Because everybody else's parents was either Malay, either Chinese, either Indian, either Serani. So I was already set aside. I think that gave me certain disadvantages, but also certain advantages, especially later on in life. Because it's not all black and white. There's a lot of grey area in every part of life.
But I think there's a lesson there when you shared also during your childhood, macam mana, how you deflect orang bully, you deflect using comedy, right? That actually develops you as a person to do comedy. So I wanted to highlight for the viewers as well, like when you see something negative, not necessarily you can take it as a negative. It could be something positive as well, right?
This what I'm about to say, I learned very much later, but I already had put it into practice. When you meet conflict with conflict, you're tegang. Each one will be pushing. But if one side does not, just meets it with acceptance, conflict, accept. Lama kelamaan, the conflict will lemahkan sikit because there's nothing to push against. And that's true with life. So when someone, for example, you're driving, you talk about road rage. Car cuts you off. Kalau you middle finger, that guy, and then stop. Tiba-tiba road rage. Out of nothing. Padahal, if someone cuts me off, I will go, silakan bro, you must be in a hurry. And you go ahead. Then and then nothing happens.
It's your reaction, right?
It's your reaction decides, is it going to go left or right? And unfortunately, with life's pressures, most people
choose to go left.
This is, to me, it's always very interesting when someone gets upset that someone cuts them off. I'm like, end of the day, that person has gone faster.
5 seconds.
2 seconds to 5 seconds. He will get there earlier, 5 seconds. You will be later by 2 to 5 seconds. Is it worth getting angry over? Kecuali dia almost crash into you. That's different. I'm just talking like, when kadang I always like, what amuses me is the person yang, tak nak. You're arguing over 2 seconds of your time. Is it worth putting the energy? Even if 5 cars cut you off, okay lah, 25 seconds. Is that going to change your life? Really? So you got to work out where you're going to put your energy, especially energy marah. Marah, you got to have some kind of resolution and purpose. Jangan saja marah, but if you know human beings, biasanya kita marah is not actually because of that. Especially
benda lain. Betul.
Dengan anak, sometimes I marah my anak terlalu banyak, then I realised what they did was they're just being kids, and I was actually upset about something else. And then dia kena. I try to catch myself that way lah. So that's, for me, that's I don't know how we started talking about that lah, tiba-tiba.
No.
But deflecting comedy.
Yeah.
So I was already doing that. I was not meeting the aggression. I was just accepting it and just turning it around so that my friends don't feel they need to AJ anymore.
Yeah, which is brilliant.
Yeah, but I think it's very important also to, understand that life is something yang it can happen to you, but how you react determines what in the end of the day apa yang akan the result. Okay, so if you every day you keep on reacting to simple things, then your life is gonna be wasted on negative things kan. But if you react well and you react, let things go easily and then focus on the right thing, then you also will achieve success.
There's something
easier, right?
exactly what you were saying. I always tell this example story. Like life happens to you. And then at the end of the day, you tanya orang, how was your day? Oh, my day was screwed up. Oh, what happened? Oh, pagi, I was getting ready for work. Then my son knocked my coffee and the coffee jatuh my baju. Then I couldn't tukar my baju and it's panas. And then I was late for work and then somebody cut me off. Then my boss said, kenapa datang lambat? And he screwed me up. And then at the end of the day, you say, I had a bad day. The day was bad. Padahal, same day, someone says, how was your day? Oh, it's like that. I woke up in the morning, my son dropped my coffee on me. But he's a kid, so I changed my shirt. On the way to work, people cut me off. Oh, they must be in a hurry. So I got to work. My boss said, why are you late? Oh, I was responsible, so sorry about that. I should have started out earlier. Then the boss goes, okay, get your work done. Then you get your work done. Then end of the day, how was your day? Oh, it was all right. Same day, same things happen. It's your reaction. It's not the day change. How you react to the day. So,
different perspectives.
Different perspective. It's really... Orang nak kata life is in your hands. Yes, shit happens to you. Cancer, accidents, shit happens. But your reaction determines your emotion.
And also like looking at the glass half empty or half full juga lah.
That's another way of
how
putting
you
it.
look at things kan. Yeah,
Betul,
very interesting.
And my glass now is...
Oh yeah, you can say it's half full or half empty. Kan?
Half
It's
full.
a perspective. Yeah.
3/4 full now.
Okay, Harith, I think you studied in Australia, right? In Perth, Australia.
Yes.
Doing bachelor in film and TV production. So, nak tanya, how was your experience like study kat sana? And was there any moment that you can highlight where you realised storytelling was something that's going to be important in your life?
Okay. Number one, I was very fortunate. Again, my parents had saved up money their whole life. So they didn't rely on scholarships because I think they knew I wasn't going to get a scholarship. And they managed to send me to Australia to study. People think going overseas is about going overseas. But when I got there, I realized the Malaysian students semua stay the Malaysian house and the makan the Maggi mee and the nasi goreng, and they could be there 2, 3, 4, 5 years
And still
then
stick
come
with the
back,
same people.
Stick with the same people. I think because of my upbringing, I consciously decided, okay, I've got a few years in this country, let's find out what it's all about. And so I hung out with Australian. When I say Australians, it's like Malaysian. They have Italian Australian, Greek Australian, Vietnamese Australian, white Australian, Chinese, Aboriginal. So I'd mix with all these people. And because I was doing film and communication studies, dalam sekolah to the school, I think I was the only Malaysian. The business school, sebelah, semua Malaysians lah.
No.
So we're doing business management and all that. So I was doing this creative thing, kind of weird, like creative, you'll never get a job. Yeah, true. But if you ask me what did I learn, it's not necessarily what happened in the class, in the school. It was the experiences I had with the people. So misalnya, small thing. Got an Australian friend. I just showed up at his house one day, 6 o'clock. Malaysia biasa. Rumah sebelah, remember, you just ting-tang, hey bro, masuk. So I showed up at his house. He was having dinner with his girlfriend. I said, oh, hi Harith. Hi. Come in. Then he invited me to sit down in the sitting room. He said, excuse me first, I'm having dinner. And he continued to have dinner. And I sat there macam, ke Malaysia, you datang, dah makan. Dah makan. You know, it's bring you in, makan. Then I realized, in Australia, you don't saja just show up. It's a different culture. Not right, not wrong. Then I realized I was almost imposing on them because they were having dinner. Then I like, oh, ini lain. It's really... It's
You get to see different.
Yeah, you have to see things differently. And then in school, this is one of my favorite stories. I was doing one of the subjects was literature or something like that. And then the lecturer gave us a topic, existentialism, which is a really mind-blowing topic. Identifying a superhero as an existentialist hero figure. Oh, don't even understand all those words. So I went to the library.
Masa tu tak ada Google lagi,
Tak ada Google. Kena pergi library, buka buku, existentialism corner, Then I really studied all the different authors, Jean-Paul Sartre, baca. Then like cross-reference with this, and I wrote a big essay where I felt, wow, I really studied this time. I really read all the right books. And I wrote the essay based on what I read. Tak ada chat GPT, tak ada AI. You baca and then write yourself. Handed up my essay. Thought I've nailed it. Then my lecturer gave me back the paper. I got something like 62 out of 100. So I was a bit upset. Like, what did I do wrong? I thought I'd get 90. So I asked him, excuse me, sir, his name is John Ludbrook.
Oh, ingat tu.
Ingat. Because you don't call them sir, you call them by the name. John. Yes, Harith. Can you tell me what's wrong with my essay? You only gave me 62. Then he said, oh, yeah, you see, well, the situation here is, it's a good essay, but you've just quoted all these authors and everything in your essay is about what other people say. I want to hear what you think. There's not much of what you think in this essay. And I was like, John, I am Malaysian. I don't think. Kita hafal. Kita baca, hafal, repeat. 100 markah. That was how we were taught in sekolah kebangsaan. Imagine sekolah kebangsaan. Teacher, I think that you are incorrect. Habis kena hantam. I don't care what you think. This is the book. You repeat, hafal, baca, and repeat. And it was true. And John Ludbrook said something amazing to me. He said, Harith, this is a table. You and I know it's a table. But if you can argue with me coherently, that this is a cupboard, if I hear you have a cohesive argument, I may not agree with you, but I can give you a top mark for your argument. So they want to hear your words, your thoughts, how you interpret things. So that one conversation with this teacher, I was like, wow, it's not chair is chair, table is table. How do you express? How do you argue? How do you convince? How do you give perspective? They want you to grow and flower out new thoughts. Then I realized, oh wow! And by this time I'm 21, 22 already. Like this is something really different compared to what I from kosong to 17 years old in school. So that experience, if you want to tell me what was the point of being in Australia for 4 or 5 years, that one. That was the moment
That's the gem.
The gem that I bring back. That's the Avengers, the stone lah. Knowledge. So that I brought that back with me, like as one of my experiences of, okay, if I didn't go to Australia and I just bump into 7 or 8 or 9 successive Malaysian lecturers, who knows? They may or may not have given me that gem, which I use. And that was not his job. He was just expressing, this is what I want from you. It's not about me. It's best of you. And that also told me like, oh, it's not about getting top marks. They just want to see the best of you.
Correct.
That's the education system that I was exposed to.
So that affected your thought process.
Thought process.
In the end.
So even when I came back, I do realize straight away I dulu apply for kerja surat khabar jobs. Kan? So video editor, I wanted to make films. And then I apply here, apply there, tulis surat, get an interview, go there. And I went to Leo Burnett. And this is another interesting story. So this is where your mind, it's all about the people you meet and what you get from them and how you recognize it. The creative director of Leo Burnett was a gentleman called Albert Lim. So he interviewed me. I datang dengan, remember your old father's suitcase, briefcase yang ada 3 nombor. Zero. You can open and snap it open. I put my curriculum vitae, my degree semua, pakai tie, macam interview segment lah. So I remember I sat there with my briefcase and Albert Lim came in, Harith, and then he started talking to me. First thing he said to me, where did you study? Australia, degree. He didn't look at my degree. He said, so what did you study film production? Straight away he said to me, anything you studied in your university, nothing to do with real life.
Straight away.
Like, okay. And then all he wanted to know was, where did I study? Did I finish? Since I had finished, accomplished, got my degree, it told him what he needed to know, that I'm someone who will start something, finish something. That was the most important nugget for him.
Yep.
Dia tak tanya pasal my degree, what did I study, what films did I make. Cuma dia tak tanya.
Your experience and all this.
And then he spoke to me for 10 minutes. He's like, okay, start on Monday. Aku belum buka briefcase pun. Tak sempat tunjuk CV. I was like, start on Monday? Yeah. I said, oh, thank you. And I found out later exactly what he said. Semua yang saya study was a good basis, but nothing to do with real life. We're not talking about being a doctor or an engineer.
Yeah.
You need to learn certain things. But so then I threw myself into the job, and then what he liked about me, what he told me later was how I spoke, my attitude. You know, he could work out whether I'm going to come to work on time, whether I'm going to stay without asking questions. That's all. As an employer, you want the person with the best attitude, not necessarily the best
skill.
In 10 A's in SPM or 15 A's, whatever. You know, it's the attitude that gets you through. It's your willingness to explore, to try, to do. You can be taught, but you come with the right attitude, I can teach you. So that's what these were the things that I was like, oh, as you go through life, these are the people who say things to you, then you realize, okay, this I can take my entire life.
Yeah, it shapes your worldview lah. We say, and I think it's important to macam you said lah, you expose yourself to studying abroad, and then you picked up a lot of things. And I think these are some of the privilege. Like maybe we share also. Macam I pun sendiri, I think I was quite lucky when I was young, because my dad pun hantar overseas, and that shaped our thinking. And we saw like actually, to become the best version of yourself, you have to always learn new things. You cannot just have this mindset where it's fixed. You think you are macam tu je. You always got to be macam, I think one thing I realized about you, you have a very curious mind, right? You always go somewhere and you want to find out more things, and that shapes your worldview, right?
But I just want to point out to those people who say, oh, tak boleh pergi overseas ke, tak sempat or tak mampu and all. It's not necessarily about going overseas. Especially now. Your overseas is here.
Correct.
More overseas than we ever got.
That's
It's
true.
all here. But you're right about the mind. Just be open. Kat sekolah you belajar 10 benda. Don't say this is all correct and that's all I need to know. Even learn the things that you may think is not correct. Then you can decide, this is betul, itu tak betul. But if you don't learn and you just hantam and you kutuk, itu salah. Salah tanpa pengetahuan, salah tanpa tahu kenapa dia salah, it is just an opinion. But if you, saya rasa itu salah, but let me find out. Actually baca, listen, talk, discuss, and then you can come to your own conclusion. I still prefer this. It's good. Then I would have more respect for you rather than, yang saya tahu ni semua betul, apa yang saya tak tahu salah. Then okay lah, you're going to be your katak bawah tempurung forever.
You buat you punya sendiri. I think good that you point with the phone. Pasal sebenarnya untuk certain orang yang tak boleh pun go overseas, tapi you boleh pilih apa yang you nak consume. Betul tak? So you can choose apa you can consume. But I think what's important also, like how you see is you get to, until today you remember your study time of what you've captured. So being open and really peka to apa the lessons.
Acceptive towards apa yang ni kan. Tak ada fixed mindset. You have a growth mindset lah, they say kan.
Yes.
Now I know the word growth mindset. Dulu but you're absolutely correct. Willing, and also willing to be wrong. Kadang-kadang kita ego fixed. This is what I was taught. This is what I was told. That's fine. But and as you grow older, dulu I thought, for example, parenting was like this, and this was the way, because we have fortunately
exposure.
two parents, and you think that's it. Then, but I have kids, I cannot just go, the way my parents parented me, times have changed. Kalau dulu kita kena slap, kena pukul, normal, every day. Yeah, it made us stronger.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger?
Exactly. But now it's not that won't or will not make them stronger. It's times have changed. Parenting has changed. And I cannot go, no, my dad's way was the best way. I'll take the good and I'll take whatever I need to change. I will decide. And I have decided. Dulu I used to think, this one a bit controversial. Dulu I used to think, similar, it's all about studies. But now in the last 2 years with AI and the way it grows so fast, I'm very well aware you can get all your 10 A's, but one kid yang dah belajar 10 of the best AI tools will do what you have studied in 15 seconds or less.
Correct.
Not because they're like smart, but he's smarter with AI. Because AI is smarter than you.
Betul.
In certain jobs. So it's like, I get it about studies. For me, it's not about 10 years. It's about commitment, dedication. You have an exam, study for the exam. You don't get an A for me, it's the attitude. You don't get an A, I know you're not going to get an A. But if you, jangan malas. Because at the end of the day, the one thing that still exists to me is malas. People think, dengan AI kita malas. No. Since everyone's got AI, you be the most
lagi laju,
efficient.
Cergas. You be the most efficient. You study the most of AI. Whom then you are not malas. Orang yang, all the kids, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be like Mr. Beast. I want to be like siapa yang lari-lari tu, the boy.
Speed.
I said,
Speed.
yeah. Good. Do you know how many everyday video, everyday, zero
The
followers, zero
consistency,
consistency, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they work. They didn't become billionaires automatically.
Or overnight.
Overnight. They work from 0 follower to 10 follower to 100 to 150 to 300. Now it's 15 million, whatever. But jangan ingat, you put in, 1, 2 video pop, I'm Mr. Beast. No, they put in the work. Because end of the day, malas is still a big effect.
I think
even with the tools.
The word is work ethics.
Work ethic.
They all have gila punya work ethics. Right? So that's what really made them who they are.
And I think it's interesting juga macam you cakap, bila we understand something, and then when we receive new information, and then we sort of computate balik kita punya thoughts tu, actually we come up with better ideas. So that's why we cannot be close-minded.
Correct.
That's why you just have to accept opinions, new things, so that, you know, some people at a certain age dia cakap AI sebenarnya dah tak nak guna lah, kan? But for me, if you don't do it, then you hilang lah dalam, and you don't tak ada evolution lah dalam kehidupan tu kan.
Suka tak suka, you cannot say
adapt.
I'm going to ignore AI. No. You're already, it's in your life. Full stop.
I saw one video, right? They say you are irresponsible to your team members and to your working place if you don't actually use it. Because something that you can actually settle much faster, you are doing it the slow way. Because you... Ego. Like how you touch that. Okay, moving towards your first dips in comedy. So I understand that you were invited by your friend to do a corporate show. That was the very first time.
At that time, you were still in PR, right?
Yes, correct.
So not entirely corporate show. I was still working in Leo Burnett, advertising. My friend Marina Mustafa, who is a friend from university days, was a PR manager in a hotel. There was a lobby lounge. It was Merdeka Eve, 1990. And she said, Harith, Merdeka Eve, there's no band performance in my lobby lounge. Can you go up? And I said, well, do what? Tell your funny stories. I said, what funny stories? I used to make her laugh. When we hang out, she said, you got this funny story, this funny story. We didn't call it jokes. She got funny stories. So you just put all the funny stories together and then just... So, okay. So I went.
And you were confident lah. You were.
Well,
were you
I
already,
wasn't confident. I was like, I'm just going to repeat my funny stories lah.
Yeah, but macam were you someone yang memang dah biasa pegang
No,
mic?
tak pernah.
Tak pernah. That was the first ever time.
That was the first. So I got on stage
Wow.
at the lobby lounge, fairly small lobby lounge, but it was packed. 6 people.
6 people.
Four were staff.
Okay.
Then there was Marina and her friend Rosina.
Okay.
So basically like hanging out with them lah. Tell this funny story. Dia laugh. Macam ni lah.
Dia nak suruh.
Diorang ketawa. And then I forgot about it. And then we went to watch, there was a jazz bar in SS2 those days called All That Jazz. Michael Veerapan owned it. And we watched a performer called Rafiq Rashid. Rafiq Rashid was a singer-songwriter, but he would change lyrics.
Make it
and
funny.
make it very funny.
Just to joke.
And it was fun to watch him. So I went to watch him. And then he took a break, first set. Then Marina said to him, hey, Rafiq, my friend tells funny stories. So Rafiq was like, hey, bro, come up. So I got up and I repeated the funny stories. And of course, there's an audience. They laughed.
More than 6 people lah.
More than 6 people. And then somebody who was in the audience, I think, saw me and was like, hey, I got this event, dinner function. Can you come? I give you 200 ringgit. And then you come and, sure. Oh, yeah. So I went to the company function. Then he got me a few more shows. And then people would see me and invite me for another company. Then I was like, oh, yeah, cool. So I was still working. Kerja, siang kerja. And then Friday, Saturday at the corporate function. And then this went on for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And then when you start getting invited back, like last year the company invite you back. Then you're like, oh, okay, you're doing something right. Like you did not disappoint.
Yeah.
And then it started to grow. But I didn't take it seriously because there was nobody doing it. There was no comparison.
Yeah.
Like there was singers, there was dance troops, there was fashion show, magician, company function, semua benda ni ada. Fire show, trapeze, but there was no comedian. I was the only one. And even when I got on stage, most of the time, the audience yang tengah makan company dinner, they would see me, they would laugh. Tapi they can see in their face, dia buat apa tu? What is he actually doing? Does he work for us? Is he our staff?
Yeah, is he MC?
Is he the MC? He's not the MC. That girl is the MC. He's not the CEO. CEO dah bagi speech dah.
So siapa dia ni?
Siapa dia ni and what is he doing? Because he's never seen. Masalah ni. He's making, because there's no history of stand-up comedy. Because prior to that in Malaysia, I don't know whether you're old enough to remember, there were talent shows, Bakat TV and Bintang RTM.
Bintang RTM.
Jamal Abdillah, I think, came from Bintang RTM. And mostly was singers, bands, or magician. The only comedians would be duo, Jamali Shadat, AR Badul. They would be teams, 2 people. And they would do comedy, but it's 2 people talking yang jenis in character. Much like what Maharaja Lawak Mega is now.
Dia macam
Character comedy.
pelakon lah.
But it's funny. But tapi one person with one microphone telling real life stories, tak ada. There was no stand-up. So the first 5 to 10 years, people were three-quarter won't know what I'm doing. Yang tahu is those who've traveled or watched Eddie Murphy's VHS video or whatever, Richard Pryor daripada dulu. And then they would come to me and say, they would call it a talk show. Hey, your talk show very good lah, very funny.
Talk show. Your talk show.
Your talk show, because you were talking.
Yeah,
and it was a show. So your talk show lah. And only in 2005, before that we had internet, we had Ethernet, where you plug into your phone. Internet those days, you had to choose either your phone or you want internet. You couldn't have both. And you'd have to dial up into the internet. Then broadband came in 2005 or 2006. When broadband came to Malaysia, then YouTube became accessible. When YouTube became accessible, then the younger generation those days, probably your age, started watching stand-up.
Overseas.
Def Jam comedy, stand-up overseas. And then they picked up this is something. And they started doing small shows. Then when they were doing small shows, they heard about the older guy who was doing corporate shows. But they had never worked in a company. So they've never seen my corporate show.
Yeah.
But So they got in touch with me through Facebook or whatever. I think it was Friendster in those days. And they're like, hey, we're doing this show. Can you come and watch us? So I went to watch them. And amongst them was Kavin J, Andrew Neto. They were just baru college boys, 19 years old. And I watched them. So they were, I would consider, the first generation.
You punya anak yang pertama. Dia kan godfather.
Anak tanpa isteri. Tiba-tiba, poop, they popped out. They popped out.
Anak cari bapa.
So then they started calling me the godfather because, somebody's been doing it for 15 years. We've just started.
So meaning for that past 15 years, he was just doing...
So there was sketch comedy from the Instant Cafe Theatre. Then Douglas Lim, who I met
I think this is a very interesting story. Maybe you can tell us about this Douglas story.
Douglas Lim, those of you don't know, wanted to be a singer. And he studied to become a teacher, maktab guru and all that. But he wanted to become a singer. He was a singer-songwriter. He used to busk. He used to busk when he studied overseas, he busked here. And he joined something called, I think, the Pepsi Young Talent Competition. And then I was doing a stand-up comedy bit on the Anugerah Industry Music. I think this was in the...
Were you with Adibah Noor at that time, no?
I co-hosted with her once. I can't remember. This story, Douglas told me so Douglas showed up because the Pepsi Young Talents were part of the AIM. Dia bawa gitar dia yang 7 kilogram, amplifier dia yang 20 kilogram. And he was, going to sing and all. And then he saw me rock up, just grabbed the mic. Someone handed me the mic. I went on stage for 20 minutes, did stand up, walk off, handed mic back, and I walked off. And he had his guitar, amplifier and mic. He was like, I want to do that. Tak payah bawa semua ni. So he approached me. He said, hey, can I try doing stand-up comedy and all? And so I would, sure. Nobody else doing it. So I would invite him to come and open some shows for me and all. So he was the first musician that is
because I asked you because I remember at that time, I think this was maybe when I was probably 15, 16 years old. Then I went to Bangsa BSC for the Actor Studio, right?
Studio,
yes. So Actor Studio to watch your show. And then there was this funny guy who was talking about politics and stuff like that to open for you. And that was Douglas. And I thought, wow, he was really funny. So I think, that was very interesting. And I think macam I sendiri pun daripada kecil dah exposed to comedy. So for me...
Because you're urban. We only did stand-up comedy in Actor Studio, Bangsa Shopping Centre. Stuff like that. So there was a slack market, very, very limited.
But this was pre-Maharaja Lawa and all that lah. But I think after that, it became more a bigger thing, right?
Well, then, so stand-up comedy was still in English. Stand-up comedy particularly was in English.
And I remember masa tu Douglas was talking about politics, tapi dia tak cakap direct. Dia gunakan perumpamaan apa semua. And it was something yang macam, for us, macam gila dia boleh cakap benda macam ni dekat public. It was something yang macam for me lah in my mind macam breakthrough jugalah, macam wow, you can actually make jokes out of this kind of things kan.
So just for your information, Lat the cartoonist was already doing this in his Lat cartoons, which was in the New Straits Times every week. He was already taking digs that time, Mahathir and all that, and Muhammad Rahmat. So I remember growing up this is cartoon boleh. the way Lat did it was boleh lepas lah. In fact, Lat today probably could not get away with it. But when you go back and see his books and all, he was already doing it. So So I was also inspired how to translate that. It's like what you say with Douglas and all. So I've never been a purely political comedian. But
you banyak more macam situational lah.
Situational. And when I started to introduce it, Lat was my inspiration. I saw what he did there. Because at the end of the day, to be honest, if you laugh, means there's an element of truth to it. And I can tell you, most politicians, they know how to laugh. They can also laugh at themselves. As you call it behind closed doors lah. Especially in a comedy show, they pun betul juga. It's only with social media where it gets taken out of context.
Betul.
It's like we were talking about earlier, dinner conversation. You can have a conversation at dinner table, 12 people. Everyone is on the same page. So you laugh. Bukan betul, bukan salah. You're not making, kita ketawa. But you take that piece of conversation outside.
Put in social media.
Put on social media. Apa ni kau hantam? Context. It's all context.
Correct.
Yeah, you're right. Interesting.
All right. Moving forward, Harith, I want to understand, like, so when you started doing this, when you were the only one, just to give the viewers also, tak ada orang lain at that time, how did you pivot from having a corporate job in Leo Burnett and then you pivot into actually, doing...
And what was the key factor of saying like, okay, I'm going to
join
comedy.
Correct.
I'm going to be the godfather.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the godfather before the anak. Good question.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, 1990 started. So I wanted to be a film director. So I was working advertising. So I did leave advertising to start Jangan, which was a TV show. That was 1990.
That was after how many years?
After 2-3 years in advertising agency. And I wanted to do TV, and my goal was to make a film. I eventually made a film in 1999, Hanya Kawan, starring Ella and Hans Isaac. That was I wrote, directed, edited,
everything,
acting.
Wow.
Sendiri buat. So during that time, I'm doing my comedy. But my comedy is like extra money, tepi, side gig lah orang kata.
Masa tu duit tak besar macam sekarang lah.
So here's what happened. I was getting 200 ringgit, 300 ringgit,
sikit je.
200 ringgit, 300, 500 ringgit. But very happy because
waktu tu quite a lot juga.
I'm on stage 30 minutes and to me it was effortless. Although, but I didn't take it seriously because when you take it seriously, you got to put it down as your profession. Then you put comedian in 1995 as your profession.
Are you serious?
Are you serious?
Are you making jokes now?
Until one day, a friend of mine, nama dia Andrew Lassie, he was with the Instant Cafe.
Oh, Andrew Lassie yang
the commentator of sports, football. He was with the Instant Cafe Theatre, and he asked me, "Hey Harith, when you do this stand-up comedy show, this corporate function, how much is the agent paying you?" Because in those days, you had to get agents had to organize a show. People couldn't contact you directly. There was no social media. They couldn't get your phone number. So they would say to the agent, "Can you get me a singer, a dance group, whatever, magician and a comedian?" So the agent would have all the contacts. Here's the budget and the agent bayar you. So I told Andrew, 200 ringgit, 300 ringgit, kalau big job, maybe 500 ringgit. And then he said to me, "Harith, I know for a fact the client is paying the agent 2,000 for you alone. The agent is paying me 200, which means the agent was pocketing 1,008. Then I'm like, my first thought was, why is the client paying 2,000 for me? Like, that doesn't make sense. For me, I looked at it, it's a good lesson for me. I looked at it as 30 minutes. That 230 minutes, bro, that's awesome.
If you kerja,
I was working in Leo Burnett 17, 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, pun dapat 3,000. In those days, 2008, like full month. Why is the client paying
for 30 minutes?
And then Andrew explained to me, he said, a company has an annual dinner every year. They put aside a budget, let's say like 500,000. Hotel, lighting, makan, entertainment. The reason they do this is because once a year, their staff look forward to the annual dinner, lucky draw, awards, prizes, makan, entertainment. They've put that aside at the beginning of the year and they spend it on that night. So the client is not placing your value on 30 minutes. The client is placing your value on how you entertain their staff for the next year. The staff go, "Oh, company saya best lah. Kita dapat penyanyi, kita dapat band, kita dapat comedy, kita dapat lucky draw. I love my company. I continue to work for my company because I get to have a wonderful annual dinner." So then I realized, there's value. Value is not based on minutes, hours, or half an hour, or 6 days a week. It's what value do you bring to what you do. So then I immediately up my price. At which
To
point,
how much?
2K lah.
Oh, 2K.
And then the agent was like, oh, you will never get another job in your life. Of course, agent marah lah. Because I found them out. That was 2000, that was 25, 30 years ago. I'm still here lah. But my point was, it was then that I started going, oh, wait a minute. This is not a side gig. This is a career. It was that moment, I would say, late 90s. Like, okay, now I got to take it seriously, as in focus on this as something that is potentially my life work lah, while doing films and TV.
Yeah.
So then I began to take it seriously in the sense that I began to study it. Like, there was no cikgu.
Perfecting your craft.
Well, I would, anytime my friend may pergi overseas, say, Harith, I'm going overseas. What, you want anything? I would say, go to a record store or a bookstore, bring me back books, CDs, cassettes, whatever, stand-up comedy, albums. So then I began to have a library of, like, oh, this person macam ni, this style macam ni, this style.
Yeah.
Like learning,
Really studied lah.
studied from cikgu before internet lah. So that mind shift happened, completely unplanned, because if you ask me that in university days, not even on the radar.
Yep.
But that mind shift happened, and that's why I began to take it seriously, and then began calling myself a stand-up comedian. That's even at that time, people be like, "Oh, what does that mean?" But still, it's like, no. This is something
You put as your profession.
my profession.
at that time.
Which, so young people out there, I don't really know what I want to say. It may come to you now, it may come to you later. But as long as you keep working at whatever it is you're doing, keep doing. Because if you just wait for inspiration to hit you, I want to become no movement, you get no result.
Correct.
That's why I say to people, get a job that you don't like.
Yep.
Because then, so I worked as a waiter, I worked as a dispatch boy. I did all those jobs after school, and during this, because then you get experience. Then you can decide, who knows as you're waiting who you're going to meet. That's my point. Tiba-tiba, you're really good. Someone there who's experienced, successful, older, goes, hey, kid, what do you do? Oh, I'm interested in this. Here's my number, give me a call. Bam. Next thing, you're working with some successful person just because you showed good attitude at the right time, at the right moment to that person. I believe that truly. You never know who you're going to meet. Same with Instagram. Oh, I don't have 50,000 views. I don't have 10,000 views. You only need one view of one person that goes, I like what this person is doing. Send them a DM. Hey, kid, can you do that for me? You just need one, technically lah. So people say, I scared to put up a video because I scared I get few views. Number one, you putting up a video is practice, and you never get good straight away. So put up shit that you get embarrassed by, and then you learn. Then you learn, and then you get better. You're waiting to put up the perfect video. Not gonna happen.
There's this, our teacher Ibu Hanim said version 1 is better than version none. But I wanted to pull out also, Harith, from your whole story that I've heard from where zero all the way until your first gig of to become a stand-up comedy and putting your profession as a stand-up comedy. I noticed that you never turned down any offers. Your friend asked you to, even the 6 orang to perform, you did. You showed up. And then you got invited by another guitar person. You went up on stage and did it. So every single point, you took the
opportunity,
correct. And you act upon it. You didn't think twice and all that. So maybe you can add a bit more on the lesson there.
So as I'm doing it, I'm not thinking it of the way you're describing it. But when you look back on it,
it was exactly like that, right?
It's exactly that, because a lot of people will not do something because what stops them is malu. I will look stupid. What will people think of me? I'm going to do it badly. So immediately kita letak bintang reasons not to.
Correct.
And then forever you will not to lah. Bagus. However, if you just jump, fail or not fail, and here's the beautiful thing: in failure, you learn more. What took nobody laughs. Orang tak ketawa. Then only you go, what didn't work?
Yeah.
Rather than, I've got these great jokes in my head, but the audience is not right. I'm not going to tell it because you tell it and then tak ketawa. Yang ni ketawa, yang ni tak ketawa. Find out what works. And then you learn more and more and more.
Do you remember your thought process of how you would actually do it? Because some people maybe, they feel risau, like how you mentioned. Do you remember throughout this whole journey, what was your thought process? Like, I'll do it.
Not so much. I was lucky because there was no one to tell me, don't do it. So if I start singing today, if you're a young kid, you have a lot of adults going, look at the thousands who didn't make it. Look at this person who tried but failed. So
nobody was there.
Nobody was there to go.
Huh?
Look at all the comedians who have failed.
Nobody.
That was the positive side. The negative side, there was no one to teach me, no one to guide me. So I was probably able to just lompat because there was no one lompat before me. So lompat, tak jadi. Find something else. But in that case, but in today's world, it is still what I say this a lot, and it's difficult to understand. It's what I said earlier as well. Almost say yes to every open door or opportunity. Step through it. Tak suka, okay, move back. Rather than 2 years ago, this person asked me to do this and I said no. No, person asked me to try this. I tried it. Didn't work, and I don't like it, and don't do it anymore. At least you tried it. And then eventually, along the way, I'm a big believer in
saying yes.
Saying yes, and only because not yes to everything, but you don't know the effect you will have on someone who it's a domino. I call it the butterfly effect. If you know the butterfly, a butterfly goes around and it goes into plants and pollen and revives plants. Does the butterfly know he's doing that? No, the butterfly just goes around and does it. But the butterfly is giving life to others. Butterfly doesn't sit back with other butterflies going, I'm a hero, I gave life to others. He's just being a butterfly.
Carrying the pollen.
Carrying the pollen. And that's with human beings. I do something and then I walk away. You don't know how that person is like, wow.
Things you affect, right?
Oh, that's interesting. I can tell you for a fact that if someone asks me now, which is your best show? I don't have an answer, but I can tell you the best experience from having done a show. For example, small example, during the pandemic, I had a Joke Factory, which is a comedy club in Publica.
Yep.
We shut down, of course, March 17, 2020, March 13, whatever it was. And then you tutup 1 year, and then you buka, there was social distancing, then you tutup. And then eventually when we buka, I was doing a show, normal audience, about 150 people, groups of people. And I noticed a lady was sitting at the back alone. I remember seeing her. Did the show, after the show, went down and said, thank you. Hey, thanks for coming. This lady came up to me. She said, I said, hey, thanks for coming. She said, the last time I came to the Joke Factory was before the pandemic. I came with my husband. I was like, oh. She came alone. I was like, oh. Then she said, my husband passed away of COVID during the pandemic. And tonight is the first night I'm coming out alone. And I chose to come to the place that I had been with him the last time we went out.
Oh, mashallah.
And when she said, when I heard that, I had no words. I said, oh, thank you for coming. She said, I had such a great time. And I remember I came here with him and I wish he was here. I said, oh, thank you. I was almost like, it was a moment to me like, okay, so this is why I do what I do.
Give happiness to people.
Yeah. Whether it was a good show or not, it meant the world to her and it brought her through a moment. It didn't change her life. But she wanted a moment. She came with her husband. She came back alone to experience that. She had a moment. And maybe, hopefully, it's helped her move on. So I'm like, okay, if you ask me why I do what I do, that's why I do what I do.
Doesn't have to be something mega revolutionary, but it's the small things.
Yeah. And this
that's
moment,
beautiful.
This moment has happened not just to me, but to many comedians. I've had people come up to me like, wow, I'll be honest with you, I was thinking of committing suicide last week. And I came out tonight and I laughed so much. I'm like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Take care, no? But so this is the one that tells me about it. There may be others that don't tell me about it, that I think don't tell anyone about it. But so I'm like, okay, just, you don't know your butterfly effect. You guys do this.
Butterfly effect, yeah.
You talk to someone says something. Someone watching goes, oh, yeah, that can change my life. I'm going to try that. You don't know.
Betul.
They're just one of the thousands watching you.
Yep. One of the reasons why we do what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, to me, I have a true belief in the butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect.
Buka pintu for someone pun.
Betul.
It's not, I'm being a gentleman. Just oh, thank you. That person goes, hey, do you know this really nice guy just opened the door for me, and it just made me feel better. Boom.
Made her day.
That made her day.
Yeah.
I was carrying something.
It's the small things in life. Right?
Small thing. People before that didn't open the door. This guy opened the door.
Amazing. So I think we're gonna take a short break, Harith. I think we have gone through a lot on your how you started. You know your the introduction of your journey. So after this, we're gonna go deeper into your comedy career.
Okay.
I think we have a lot to talk about. You know, I because like I said, I grew up watching you. So I'm very interested, and you guys make sure you guys stay tuned for the next part.
Don't go anywhere. See you guys in a bit.
See you guys after the break. Alright, welcome back to Apa Cerita with the legendary Harith Iskander.
Yes.
The godfather of comedy in Malaysia.
The godfather. And we know why.
Yeah, now we know why. Alright, so Harith, we want to continue on the story.
Yep.
Do you want to take it?
Yes. So far it's been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. We learn a lot as well. MashaAllah. So now moving towards the rise of Harith Iskander. Back in early 90s, you became a household name through the show Jangan. How big of a platform was that for you? And did you already sense that stand-up comedy was going to grow into something serious in Malaysia as it was today during that time?
Okay, let me tell you how big Jangan was in those days, because people may not realize.
Correct.
This is before social media.
Yeah.
You had 3 TV stations, RTM1, RTM2, TV3, and TV7 tak ada lagi. So we were on every Wednesday night.
You were that old.
That old.
Yes. Bapak kau gitu.
So if you can Google what was the population of Malaysia in 1991, I would say
million.
30.
No, now we are what?
plus.
33.
Now more than
33,
33,
35.
Let's say we were 28 in 1991. We were on Wednesday night, 8.30, and they had ratings.
Yeah.
We found out Jangan Ketawa ratings on a Wednesday night was 6.1 million.
Wow.
They're a quarter of Malaysia.
So we were almost a third or a quarter
third.
of Malaysians.
Correct.
Which, because everybody watched TV, you had nothing else.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant until one day I was in PD. I'd gone down with my girlfriend at the time, and we were just walking along the beach. And then there was a family, a very lower income Indian family, having a small picnic on the beach. They all jumped up. I was literally, I was nobody, I can tell you now. They all jumped up and they came running to me, speaking in Tamil. Very low income, I would say below B40. Speaking in Tamil, and all I could understand was, Jangan ketawa. And then they took out what, in those days we had cameras, ingat tak, Kodak film. To take a picture, you had to buy film. Then you had to process the film. There was no handphones in those days. And they started taking pictures with me, with their Kodak camera film, 12 pieces of film. And I was like recognizing how they were low income, and yet they spent their entire film camera taking pictures with me, not being able to speak English and very little Malay. And they were so excited. Even my girlfriend was like, wow. Then I realized, wow, our reach, the TV show had reached an audience that was not your typical, audience, because Jangan Ketawa was a sketch show. We had visual sketches yang tak perlu language. Slapstick style comedy. We had sketches with dialogue, but we had covered everyone, those who didn't speak Malay, those who didn't speak English, those just wanted to watch comedy. Then I realized, wow, this has made a real impact.
Yep.
By second season, first season we would shoot everywhere, very guerrilla style. Nampak bus stop, berhenti, shoot. Nampak kedai, shoot. Tak ada minta permit and all. By second season, we couldn't shoot properly. Every time we stopped to shoot, a crowd would gather. Traffic would stop to watch because D and Moon had become famous.
Crazy, man.
So we realized, this is... By third season, we were shooting overseas. We shot in Singapore.
Dah tak boleh shoot kat Malaysia.
Saja.
Duit dah banyak.
And I knew we had become totally famous when we got banned. When in Malaysia, when you get overly famous, somebody complains, Parliament has a discussion, and those days you would write letter to the editor, kan, kat surat khabar. Someone wrote to the editor that they were confused. My children are confused because D and Moon were two guys who played all the female characters. We had a 10.
Were you Moon?
No. D and Moon was D and Moon was two of the 10 actors.
Oh, okay.
I was one of the 10. D and Moon played all the female parts.
D is the
tall one.
Yeah.
And Moon has passed away, Arwah Moon. And someone wrote, my children are confused, ini lelaki ke perempuan? So that letter was brought up in Parliament. I think it was a slow day. They had nothing to talk about. So they brought this up. And tiba-tiba Ministry of Communication put down a law, lelaki tak boleh pakai baju perempuan.
On television.
So, on TV and all. For us, it was actually very simple. We had logical arguments. In the history of theatre, sejarah theatre, men played women's parts all the time. Romeo and Juliet. The woman would play the man's part, the man would play the woman's part. It's part of pantomime. It's part of theatre. And it's definitely part of comedy.
Showbiz, comedy especially.
And then my second argument is, D and Moon were guys. You could ask them to do anything and they would do it. Hey, aku lari tengah jalan and stop the traffic in wearing your kebaya and your bun. Okay, jalan. But if you ask a woman in those days, can you run in the middle of the road and stop the traffic? Malu lah, tak sedap lah. So that was my second reason. And the third reason was, we are a group of 10 guys. When we shoot outstation, if we had 2 women and there's 8 guys, the wives of those 8 guys are going to go, oh, you were outstation dengan siapa? Tidur bilik siapa? Pap. You know lah, the normal. So it's like, so rather than change the soul of the story, we decided to stop lah. Tak payah buat anymore.
Because stop lah after season 3.
After season 3. So we stopped. But that's Malaysia lah. Sekejap the rule come, then goes back, then come back. Yeah. Since then, the rule has been in and out. So that's how I knew Jangan Ketawa changed the landscape of TV at the time.
It was big.
It was huge.
I mean, I didn't watch it. I wasn't born. But I read about it. Memang a quarter, 1/3 of Malaysia watched it. And I think this is, not the same context, but people remember because it made them feel good. You know, because lawak kan, movie, cerita lawak, right?
I mean, it's a common quote you'll get on Instagram. Right. People don't remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel.
So I think 1/3 of Malaysian felt.
To this day, I will get a very older person saying, oh, Jangan Ketawa was part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, satu keluarga duduk depan TV. That was your moment. 8:30 guys, duduk depan TV.
Yeah, but I want to bring it to the next one, which is my childhood, which was, is it Aha, you and Aflin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can talk a bit about that. I think that was huge too at that time, right?
That was, that one, okay, you got to type in Aflin Shauki, Harith Iskander, AHA, AH-HA, which
it was on TV3.
Yeah.
Aflin Harith Aflin.
Oh. Now there's
Kita kelas kejap kan?
That one we only did 2 seasons. It was sketch comedy, and Aflin and me had a very good energy with each other. We played off each other, and we were very spontaneous, and so our goal was to make each other laugh while we are shooting.
Oh, you guys were so competing each other.
And there's one sketch called Pen Berbulu. So what we did was, I got the props guy. I said, you put things in the bag, but you don't tell Aflin what's in the bag. Then we played the stall where Aflin comes in as a seller kan. Bang. Sekejap bang, saya tunjuk bang. And his goal was, I'm sitting there, he opens the bag, he doesn't know what's in the bag, and he's got to try and sell me what was in the bag. And he pulls out this pen, and he calls it, abang ni, pen bermata bulu. And then he and you can see, I'm just cracking up because he doesn't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It was so funny because he was just rapping and reeling like, and how you can use the pen and all. So that's the kind of things we were doing. And the sketches are still on
TikTok and stuff.
TikTok, and so we had a great time doing that as well.
Yeah.
But even then, it was a different time. It was TV. You couldn't get away with some of those things now.
Yeah.
But you know that's. But it's great that it's part of your memory. So thank you.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool. And masa tu pun, I remember, I think going to your stand up, and then you cakap, banyak orang jumpa you, hi Aflin, and then they were confused between you and Aflin, right?
Okay, it happens to this day.
Oh really?
But sometimes I think it's because they have seen that I mentioned people call me Aflin and people call Aflin Harith. So they saja. Hey Aflin. dah jadi part of the myth lah.
But how was it like working with someone like Aflin? And I think you guys had like, I don't know whether it was a long partnership, but it was a memorable partnership. It was something yang I, as a young boy, I remember.
So Aflin, people know him as a film director, and now he's in politics and all. But he's an amazing singer, and he had a band, and I used to go and watch him perform. So he was 5 years my junior in school. I didn't know him in school. I knew him later. And then he would end up asking me to act in a couple of his movies. And so we had and of course we're both comedians. So we both thought along the same lines, and we had a very good connection, especially for the comedy in those days. He also is very spontaneous, and you know, he's incredibly talented. So I don't see him as much as often now, but if we do get together, it just like there's a spark there lah. Tiba-tiba benda-benda bodoh yang keluar.
Well, was he a cool person to work with?
Yes, he was. If anything, you had to rein him in. Dia macam kalau dia lepas, any sketch could go 1 hour. Like, okay. Just cut. Can you cut 45 minutes from that and just focus on because he would just go off the rails lah. But you know, so of course we're not as close now as we were then because we were shooting together all the time. But yeah, fun memories of AHA.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you do the talk show first or Funniest Man first?
I did obviously Harith Iskander, the talk show first.
All right, so maybe we can talk about this. Obviously, Harith Iskander, also one of something that I really remember juga. I remember you had TMJ on the show, and I remember you had a few other big names as well at that time.
To tell you the truth, obviously Harith Iskander, for me, exceeded my expectations. It was a 50-50 with Astro Awani. They gave me a free rein. I put the band together. They wanted your typical late night Jimmy Fallon, come out, monologue, have a couple of games, and then guests. And then I ended up getting some incredible guests, TMJ being one of the highlights. I had Zahid Hamidi, I had Nurul Izzah, Nicole David, the football players. I had so many, Tony Fernandez. And it was very good because we sort of got them out of the element, and it was very podcast style before podcast, meaning very rarely were the questions prepared or asked. Most of the guests were like, no, let's just talk.
No, really?
Let's just talk. So I had Nurul Izzah with Tun Musa Hitam, coincidentally. I always had two guests. And I do remember that because that was just prior to the election when Nurul Izzah was part of the opposition, prior to 2018. And the Astro Awani higher-ups were concerned that Nurul Izzah might say something. But Nurul Izzah was very professional, very political, and very... Tun Musa Hitam, on the other hand, dia lepas. Said everything that Astro did not want. In those days, there was very much control. And still, to a certain point now, you have a big TV station. So Tun Musitam lepas whatever he said. And so that was like interesting to see the higher ups of Astro like
Panic.
because we recorded it Saturday morning and went live Saturday
Evening.
Night, right? Night, I think.
Okay, I'm going to tell a story
Please.
that might interest you. So I had a wish list, but I would say, can I invite so-and-so to Astro? And Astro would say yes. And at that time, Tun Mahathir had not started Bersatu, but was vocally against Najib. But belum start Bersatu lagi. So I asked Astro, can I invite Tun Mahathir? They said, yeah, go ahead. So I managed to, got in touch, and Tun said yes. Oh, great, wonderful. And what I would do was, before the recording on Saturday, I would meet up with them, and we'd have a camera in car moment. That was to promote the show. It was like a James Gordon camera. So I went to Tun Mahathir's office out in Putrajaya and got him in the car. And they had just released the new Proton at that time.
The X70, is it?
I can't remember what it was, 2017. And did the camera and all. While we were driving around and we chatting, Tun was driving, my phone was buzzing. Because it was already announced on Tuesday, Sabtu, Harith Iskander, obviously Harith Iskander, special guest Tun Mahathir. My phone was buzzing. And after I finished with Tun, I checked, Astro was calling me. So I called up Astro. Astro said, can you come in? Went in. They said, this Saturday we can't have Tun on the show. And I was like, I just had this car moment and we've advertised it. They said, we've received a call from above, so we've chosen not to have Tun. So that was Tuesday. So I had to scramble to find another guest. But then, on top of that, I had to call Tun to say, I'm sorry. I didn't speak to him directly. I was speaking to his officer. So I called up the officer that afternoon. Hi. Straight away he said, so we can't be on the show? He straight away. I said, how do you know? He said, news travels fast. In fact, he said, I was surprised that they allowed us in the first place. And then, so we found a guest. On Friday, Tun was on the election trail talking in small towns. And in a small town, he said something. Because my phone started ringing again on Friday. Harith, this is so-and-so from Reporter Free Malaysia Today. Did you hear what? I don't send me the link. Tun had gone on an election trail in a small kampung and said, sebenarnya esok saya jadi dengan guest Harith Iskander, tapi dia tidak dibenarkan. Ada orang yang takut dengan saya. Siapa yang takut? Kerana saya nak bercakap je. Ada orang takut dengan saya, dah cancel saya. And he said this. And the press all jumped on it. So the press were calling me. And I was like, I didn't know how to handle all this. I'm not, hold on. That's true. What do I do? So he had announced it, and so I was like, I can't, I don't know what to answer. We just had a rescheduling, whatever. But later on, the Astro CEO, Astrawani, said to me, we need to visit Saleh Said Keruak. This was the first time I met him. To apologize for our misstep in inviting Tun. Okay? I'm new to this game. So myself and this gentleman, we went to Saleh Said Keruak's office, Minister of Communication, RTM, and Kasapuri, sit down there. We are here to officially apologize. Saleh Said Keruak. Okay. After we finished, he was like, actually, I don't care. Mate, let's talk to everyone. Hey, put Tun and myself together. We talk. Let's open discussion. It should be okay. We should be open to it. And I was like, oh, this guy's cool. That's the way it should be. Let's talk. Let the people decide. We talk. He said, but I'm not the decision maker. It came from
high up.
I don't know who. So I was like, that's the first time I met Saleh Said Keruak. And I was like, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
He actually offered. He said, put me and him together and let's have an open discussion.
Yeah.
I said, great. So for me, it's like, okay, there's so many workings within the government that public only sees one side.
Yeah.
And senang kutuk. But actually behind the scenes, you don't know what's going on and how people are operating. And the more you learn, the more you realize. Not to say it's a game, but it's about positioning, power play, and unfortunately or fortunately, people get caught up in that, and the focus runs away from actually creating and doing something for the country, for the people.
But did you end up releasing the episode?
No.
Oh.
That footage is in archive somewhere, because we only did the car part.
It would be interesting to see the episode, right?
So,
I do remember one line. To them, we were talking, and the conversation turned to P. Ramlee. And as we were driving, Tun said something along the lines of, because P. Ramlee passed away and, kind of forgotten in terms of when he was alive, he was forgotten. And Tun said, interestingly, Malaysians, they only acknowledge you after you have passed away. I was like, damn. Damn, son.
I think you're right. I think but I think kita boleh ambil pengajaran juga lah. We should appreciate the people when they're still alive. And when they are still there, you should show your appreciation. Kan.
There's a very interesting point of view I recently saw. This is the good part of Reels that I like in IG and all. There is a lot of value if you're watching the right reel.
Yep. You choose the content.
I think it was Simon Sinek was talking about meeting
Simon
an
Sinek
actor.
is a great guy.
Yeah.
Simon Sinek.
And the actor was in the movie Inglourious Bastards, and he played he played an evil character.
Yeah.
And Simon Sinek saw this person giving an interview, and the interviewer was asking, how did you source evil into your character? How did you, as an actor? And he said something interesting, and the result being, people don't go out believing they're evil or bad. They truly believe
they're doing
they're doing the right thing.
Yep.
No one pretends to do a bad thing or pretends to do an evil thing. They believe they're doing the right thing. So when you hear someone say something or do something that you say, dia salah, dia jahat, dia sengaja, that person doesn't know what he or she's doing. Their intention, they believe they're doing. So take the time to talk to that person. Find out what's your intention? What are you doing? What is your goal?
Yeah.
And you will learn that, they have a different belief system. No one goes out, I'm going to be bad. I'm going to make these people starve. I'm going to kill these people. No one. They believe they're doing something good.
Like they're doing... If say they are taking revenge or somebody, so they're doing good for the person they actually love. Right? Actually, if you watch all these movies, all the villains, they have their own agenda. So tak ada siapa salah pun, actually. Right?
But in real life, no one goes out, hey, I'm evil.
Correct.
Nobody does that. They believe they're doing good. Even if they're doing something evil, their belief is I'm doing something good.
So you obviously have interviewed so many amazing people, right? Who stand out the most in your mind?
Good question. I would have to say, off the top of my head, it was actually Tengku Mahkota Johor. TMJ, when he appeared on, obviously, Harith Iskander. For a couple of reasons. One, he agreed to do it. And two, when he came down, I had prepared some questions, as you know, Tengku, these are the questions. He said, do you want to look at them? He said, ask me anything. I said, we're recording live. Live, it'll be shown that night. Ask me anything. And what was intended to be a 1 hour interview episode went 2 hours. Because halfway through the show, he turned to the audience, about 200 people. Anybody got any questions for me? Like, that was completely unscripted. And I just sat back. I was like, all right, take it away. And people asked the questions. And he just answered, which I thought was very admirable.
Yep.
Because even later on, he didn't say, can you cut this or edit this or don't show this or don't say that.
He was a gentleman. Whatever he said, it was...
Transparency. Transparent and stick to who he truly is.
So for me, I was like, okay, this is not a question of whether someone says something that you believe is right or wrong or something says something that you like or don't like. It's okay. You have taken on the responsibility and now it's yours. And I will... That is, you have to respect that. You're not hiding behind anything.
You're
so, For me, it's like, okay, that was a great interview, and it went beyond what was expected.
Yeah, I saw the interview too. I thought it was really good. And I thought that really elevate the whole show as well. And I think you also did a car. He was driving you, right? Shanku was driving you, huh?
So that went down to Johor just to meet him, and he said, let's take a drive. And I said, Tuanku, do you mind if I just record this? And he said, yeah, sure. But he's like that. You know. So he has the certain gravitas and right and privilege to do what he wants, and okay. And it's just up to me to ask. If Tana, tak boleh, fine. That's great as well. But you got to ask. You don't ask, you don't get.
Betul.
I think that was nice. And I hope, one day we can also get to interview
Inshallah.
Royal Highness Tuanku Mahkota Johor, kan? That would be a dream come true for us as well, kan?
Yeah. So I want to ask, so having such huge wins, right? Things that I think no brainer, funniest person in the world, Netflix special of your own, and so many other successful projects as we've heard so far in this podcast, right? I don't think there were any other comedians that by far have had this successful feat as yours. So, but when you started, it wasn't looking back. What do you think it took in terms of resilience and mindset to push through those years when nobody even understood what stand-up was?
I can only say this in looking back, like with most things. I think at the core of it, I needed to enjoy what I did and see value in it. So it's not about being the most successful, the best, the number one. Like I do what I do, I enjoy it. If the accolades come, they come. If they don't, it doesn't really make a difference because it was never my goal to be number one. In fact, I don't think there's such a thing as number one comedian, only because it's up to your taste. It's not black and white. Yeah, there are numbers. Okay, you can look at numbers, earnings or ratings or whatever, fine. But that's never been my goal. My goal, I would rather make 100 people happy than perform to 1,000 who are just meh. You know what I mean? That was my purpose. My goal was to make a difference in others. Hopefully, like someone like you saying, "Oh, I enjoyed Aha. It was part of my childhood." Yeah, oh, okay. That's not why I did it. But when I get that back, I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's cool. There was a reason it was successful, or I felt it was successful. So once again, but that's not to say it's not wrong to go after numbers and goals. So I think it's also very important to say, I would like to be the number one, whatever sports person or the best in my field or something. There's nothing wrong with that. That never drove me personally, but I know people who are like that, who are personalities like, fine, go for it. But for me, it is about finding purpose in what you do, and then, if possible, if you're lucky, being happy with that.
Enjoy the process.
Whether it's selling 100 seats or 1,000,000 seats. If you're happy with 100, fine. 200 is not going to make any difference. Do you know what I mean? So, be happy with yourself, your purpose.
Yeah, maybe you can bring us back a little bit to your Netflix show, because I think that was one of the career highlight also. How did that experience?
So Netflix opened up in Asia. The first office was actually in Malaysia. Now it's in Singapore. First office they opened up in Malaysia. Netflix was known to have comedy specials, but they had never had a Southeast Asian comedian. So they contacted me, I think, based on their research, and contacted Fakar Faz from Singapore. And then they asked me to recommend someone else. And I think Kevin James' name was there. So they chose me, and so they produced it. They said, okay, yours is going to be the first so-called locally produced Netflix special within this region. It wasn't the first Asian. The first Asian was actually Veer Das from India, because their market is huge. How many billion people do they have? So I was the first from, I would say, Southeast Asia. They pay me a lump sum, But it was a very Netflix production, meaning I had to provide a script. They had to vet the script. They also wanted a pre-show, means they wanted to watch me perform the show before recording it, which was a bit unusual for me. So I had to gather a smaller audience in a different venue. Then they critiqued that pre-show with notes. This one boleh shorten this one tak boleh, pa. So it was based on what Netflix believed their worldwide audience or the American audience would like, because it's in English. So there was a little bit of control there, but it's their production, so okay, we go with it. To be honest, I overran. I did about 2 hours, but they only had 90 minutes, so they edited my show down based on their belief of what their audience wanted. So people who went to see the show live saw the Netflix special and they were like, something's missing. Tak sama. They took out some parts which I believed were good, but Netflix probably didn't believe were funny. And I believe it added to the rhythm. They wanted joke.
The flow. Yeah.
So, but when you work with a producer, that's
how it is.
That's how it is.
The culture reference maybe a bit
cultural
different.
reference. This was then when there was no Southeast Asian comedians. Now dah banyak. Now there's so many Netflix comedy specials that, in my opinion, I used to watch all of them, but now I've stopped watching all because a lot of it is crap. Because they're a content platform. They need content. So they cannot be picky about, we only want the best of the best. They do content. So it's the game has changed.
Correct.
But I appreciate the time and I appreciate the what they offered me and the opportunity they gave me.
Yeah, but I think it was a huge thing lah, and it's a global
It's also an experience.
So I have been to LA and I got recognized by a Mexican. It's like, hey bro, I've seen you on Netflix, man.
Oh really? That's good.
That's pretty
and the
cool.
Japanese, I flew a JAL airline. The Japanese airline stewardess was like, oh, I saw you on Netflix. Things like that. Like,
Not too shabby.
not too shabby.
All right, Harith. Of course, a lot of people know you for being clean, family friendly, and very safe with your comedy. Some even say you avoid politics and also taboo topics. So do you see that as a limitation or as your strength, knowing how far you can go in Malaysia? Because of course, you being a comedian at a certain statue, you've got to also
Careful a bit,
be a bit more careful lah. You cannot be like Douglas lah, who can just say anything he wants, right?
Well, no. So I started in corporate shows. In corporate shows, it was a given that you don't. Corporates, every time you do a show, can you don't make jokes about politics, about
agama,
race or religion. And basically I'm like, all right, good night. There's nothing there. So that was my training ground. But I have touched on politics and I do so once in a while. Not to say I shy away from it, because sometimes it becomes too easy. Like it's got to a point that you don't even have to make a joke about it. People are already laughing about what politicians say. Straight up. They just say in your face, like, I can't improve on that. That's a great joke.
They wrote the joke for you.
Yeah. But I have been in minor trouble here and there, but I don't feel it as a hindrance, neither do I feel I need to pursue it. Because sometimes political humor has its place, and then sometimes you just
Get
trying
you into trouble.
trying to push the line. Like, I'm a bit too old to be still trying to push the line lah.
All right. So Harith, I want to ask a little bit of a personal question, if you don't mind, kan. So of course, last year your divorce was all over the headlines, but what caught people's attention was when you said openly, I screwed it up, and not many men would admit that so honestly, right? With that being said, what made you take the risk of admitting you were wrong, which could have potentially jeopardized your career?
Interesting you use the word risk, because you, number one, take the risk is only because it's take the risk of telling the truth. So Is it risky to tell the truth sometimes? Yes, it is. But in this case, my only concern, as with more things, is to move forward. I didn't want to leave questions that will continue the conversation. Kenapa ni? Kenapa? Mesti dia buat ni. Mesti dia buat tu.
And I remember you went to Daphne's podcast, right, to actually talk about this.
We did a podcast with Daphne. Wonderful friend as well, long-time friend. Basically, to put it in a nutshell, your question is not the first time someone has asked me personally. Bro, kenapa you cakap macam tu? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, just put it out there so that there is no question asked later. Actually, what happened? Actually, and even if there is, it's like, look at the podcast lah. Nak jawab apa-apa. Most of the answers are there. And yes, it when you frame your question that way, yes, it was a risk. But I'm like I also said earlier, it's not about if I drop in impression of who I am to certain people, then that's going to happen. I'm not going to shy away from that, because at the moment my life is not all about being at the top and being wanted by everyone. At this moment, my life is about making sure that the kids are okay. So
your priority.
My priority. I don't need to be doing every single corporate show. And if someone gets another corporate show because a client doesn't want me, so be it. I have enough to move forward. I've got other things as well, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't. I understand the question, but it wasn't my priority. How will this damage my career?
You just wanted to be transparent about it, right?
Exactly.
It didn't cross your mind when even lah.
Of course, it did cross my mind. It'd be silly to say it didn't, but it's like, yes, it was a risk, but it's like that is the risk I'd rather take than the risk I don't take. Just put it out there. Everybody clear on the picture. No dark spots. No questions. Now we can move on. Everybody makes mistakes. Let's move on.
Yeah, but I think you handled it very well.
Thank you.
And I'm quite impressed also to see how your relationship with Dr. Jasmine has developed now. Because I mean, we go to our kids go to the same music school, and I see you guys still have good relationship, and I think that is something that a lot of people can learn from. And what did you actually learn from this whole experience as well?
Well, we are now, I would say, from my point of view, we're better friends, which is how we started. And you tend to forget that along the way. And at the end of the day, it is no longer just about us. I like you, you like me, I don't like you, you don't like me. We have the kids in the picture. So if the two parties can see the bigger picture, put aside your personal differences such that, so we do that. We go to certain dinners together, and hey, let's just have what we call a family dinner, just so that they go, okay, my parents are divorced, but
nothing changed.
Not say nothing changed. They're still friends. They can talk. Then my hope is that when they grow up, they don't think it's an us against them. There's no division. I have to choose between mother or father, because you don't want to give a child them to make that choice. For me, that's damaging. There's no choice. You are loved by both, and equally. You don't have to choose who you like more. So that to me will pay off in the future when they become adults, bigger. Hopefully they can bring that to the table.
And I totally agree with you. And I think coming from a family like mine as well, I have two sets of parents, and looking at how they also communicate, how they work together also to raise us, right? That give us hope, and also like you said, kita tak ada rasa macam nak kena pilih side. You know, our journey became much better compared kalau you bergaduh. Kan? And I see some influencers apa semua gaduh openly. You know, sometimes kids get the
They see it, right?
Yeah, not just they see it, diorang pun kena, diorang pun nak kena tolong jawab untuk mak, diorang pun nak kena tolong jawab untuk bapak, which I think creates a very bad environment for the kid itself, kan?
It's unfair.
Very unfair.
For a child. It really is unfair to put them in the position. Because to me, I know 18 is just a number, but until you're 18, or even maybe a bit younger, you are still at someone else's responsibility.
Correct.
At a certain point, you take responsibility.
Should be protected.
But you shouldn't be given the need to, okay, who is better? Which one you like? Who you choose? Oh, that's tough.
But I think kudos to you and Dr. Jasmine. I think you guys are very matured couple, and I think, you know, you guys have done justice to your family as well. And I hope you guys continue to have this harmony and keep on inspiring others to
to do the same.
Yeah. Whatever happens in your life, you know, you move on, you pass through it, and then you become a better person, you learn from it, and, you know, you grow as well, right?
I hope so too.
Yeah. Okay, Harith. Of course, you are a legend. You have done so much in your life, you know, from doing films. Now you are comedian. You know, you are the god of comedy.
Godfather.
The godfather of comedy. So, in a way, or in many ways, you are the best version of yourself, right? So, what would be your advice to people who are watching and they want to be the best version of themselves? What would you be your advice for them?
Number one, I hesitate at giving advice because human beings, we don't listen to advice. My parents gave me so much advice. Jangan buat ni, apa yang kita buat, kita buat. But if I was to say anything, not in the form of advice, is to, I know this word sounds too easy. It's almost just be a good person. Meaning, we don't live alone. We live in
society.
It's a society. Just being good to others, because I don't know how the universe works. When you are good to others, good comes to you. I can't prove it, but I just experience it. Similarly, anyone I know who complains, this person screwed me, this person hit me, this person, in my heart, I'm actually feeling that's coming to you because maybe that's what you are putting out. Have you ever met someone who's always like, everyone is against them? This person screwed me over, that person screwed me over, this person. In my head, I'm like, how come in my life that there are people screwing me over all the time? But your life are there. Are we living different lives? I believe it's the energy you put out. You screw people over, they will screw you over. So I believe when you bring more good to others, open doors, whatever, show acts of kindness, then it comes to you. That's the how to be what I would call happy. In terms of success, it's actually very simple. It takes work. It really, not work as in school work, it just takes effort. You just need to put the time in whatever you do, and don't choose, I'm going to do this, but I don't do that. I'm going to do this. If you can, do. Because the more you do, the more better you get at it. And the more you learn, and the more you make mistakes. And the more mistakes you make, the better you get at it. So, especially when I'm talking to, anyone below the age of 23 or something, my favorite is this. What do you want to be? I want to be famous. They say, I want to be famous. Okay, define what that means. You want to be famous? Go out and kill 3 people. You can be famous. Tiba-tiba your face will be on every news, social media. That's famous. Oh, no, bukan macam tu. Then what? So, what is fame? Fame is people know you. You want people to know you for what reason?
For the right reason.
Whatever you would term the right reason. For me, chase something that you love doing, you get good at it, you bring value to others, and then the fame will come. Oh, that person was good, man. He really created a difference in everybody's lives. He really created a difference in this life. The fame will come. That's to me, my belief. So be good, be kind, and at the end of the day, I'm not the best worker, I have to admit, but those who I find, not say work hard, they just do. They create every moment. They're the ones who are the most successful.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Harith, for
Thank you.
sharing your story with us and sharing so much of your journey. I think personally I've learned a lot, and I think your whole way of adapting towards life, your approach towards life, I think it's been something yang sangat amazing kan, something yang kita can really learn from. I like the fact that you always say yes to things.
Correct.
You know, you get into comedy, and then you also bring other people along the way as well. You didn't become successful by yourself.
No.
Not just you. You took so many other people to become success, like for example Douglas.
Well, I take no point in making anyone successful, but you just, hey, here's a platform, open the door.
You open doors for people.
You fall, you fly, that's up to you. So great. But if I can open a door that you couldn't, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it's amazing how you look at life, how you always adapt towards new changes, and you know, have such an open mind, and you know, and thank you so much again, and I hope and pray that, you know, you become more successful, you become someone that can give benefit to so many people lagi, and thank you for
having me.
Also mewarnai I punya childhood, and you are someone that I really look up to, and I'm so honoured to have you here again.
Thank you so much. Thanks guys.
Thank you so much. I'll keep it short. Thank you so much, Harith, for agreeing to actually come to our podcast. I mean, our mutual friend David as well. I think that is also one person that I told you about with the Warrior Plunge. I think he also opened your shows also, right? He said that's how they know each other for 15 years. So attest to what Ashraf said. You brought people along as well to how you create your journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really, really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alright, thank you so much for everyone for watching, and insyaAllah kita akan jumpa lagi di minggu hadapan. Alright.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Alright. See you guys.
See you.